Hi everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 Republican primary. So just as an update, the four remaining candidates as of Super Tuesday are Mike Pence with 307 delegates, he's in second place. Nikki Haley with 308 delegates in first place. Donald Trump Jr. with 70 delegates in fourth place. And Josh Hawley with 128 delegates in third place. And as of Super Tuesday, we'd just like to announce Donald Trump Jr. has officially suspended his campaign. He has suspended his campaign right now. And so now you've just got a three-way race between Pence, Haley, and Hawley. So Trump, if we can assume that Ted Cruz right now, Marco Rubio, we can assume endorses Nikki Haley. Trump Jr. we can assume endorses Mike Pence. Tucker Carlson, I mean, he probably gonna endorse Josh Hawley, but he's sort of losing right now, so maybe he wants to keep his powder dry until later. Cruz, Cruz could sort of go either way. Maybe he sort of wanted to go on the Pence road, maybe on the Haley road. Either he could endorse either, and then Rand Paul, again, could go either way. On that, I think Paul and Cruz might just stay out of the primary until there's a bit more of a clear consensus as to who's going to be the nominee. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at Kansas, Kentucky, and we're going to go all the way down to the state of Ohio right now, and then later in the next video we're going to do all of these states right up, and a lot of these are winner take all, so there will be much quicker right up until the end. So we'll most likely go to Ohio. Maybe we can extend that to New York, if depending on how we're going. But the first state we're going to be taking a look at is the state of Kansas. It's a proportional closed caucus. So the state of Kansas. This one's interesting. There's a lot of sort of religious conservatives. I'm gonna say this one sort of Hawley does quite well in. He might get 38% of the vote or so. Mike Pence is up there as well, 41%. Nikki Haley, something like that. You could even see Hawley taking it in a best case scenario for him, but Pence, we can see taking it right now. Moving on to the next state, the state of Kentucky. In the state of Kentucky, we can say this one's going to be quite close again, but I think that it could go either way between Pence, Haley, and Hawley, but for now, I'm going to say Hawley does quite well, 34% of the vote. Haley is also coming up there. You could see something like that, possibly like that, with Pence, a narrow Mike Pence win in the state of Kentucky. Moving on to the next state, the state of Louisiana. In Louisiana, this one again, gonna go to Nikki Haley here. In the South, that's Nikki Haley's home turf. We're gonna say this one goes about half of the vote to Nikki Haley, 30% or 32% for Mike Pence, the rest to Josh Hawley. Moving on to the next state, that is obviously the state of Maine. And in the state of Maine, we can say this one's again going to be quite close between Haley and Pence. Pence, again, appealing to religious conservatives, not as many of those in the state of Maine, so we're going to assume Haley takes that with her more moderate message there, and Josh Hawley getting a few delegates there, something like that split. Moving on to the territory, of Puerto Rico. I believe Marco Rubio won this one last time, so we're going to be giving this one over to Nikki Haley, and I believe Josh Hawley also going to be in there, coming in second place, quite close behind Haley. I don't think Pence is going to do all that well in the territory of Puerto Rico. Moving on to the state of Hawaii. This one was something that Trump won, but I was quite surprised in 2016 when Trump won this one. I would have thought Rubio, Cruz would have done well. And we're going to be giving this one actually over to Nikki Haley, with 47% of the vote. Pence also getting up there, maybe not to Haley, something like that. and then you can give it over to Josh Hawley, something like that. Moving on to the next state, the state of Idaho. The state of Idaho, we can say this one again gonna go to Mike Pence. We see Mike Pence doing well here. We can also see Josh Hawley doing quite well here, maybe 20-25%, and then Haley splitting off that difference with Hawley. You could see it's being something like that. Moving on to the next state, the state of Michigan. Michigan, this one, I mean, neighboring Indiana. I think that Pence and Hawley are both going to do well. I think Hawley's message of economic populism will resonate with some Michigan voters. The Trump effect also strong in Michigan. Nikki Haley, I don't believe will do all that well, but she would probably coalesce a lot of that moderate vote in the state of Michigan. Moving on to the state of Mississippi, this is a Nikki Haley state right now. This one's probably going to go to Nikki Haley, as does most of the South. So you can see Haley doing something like that. Mike Pence also coming in there a little bit, and then Josh Hawley splitting it off there. Moving on, now that's Mississippi. So right now that's the end of that. So Mike Pence is leading with 434 delegates. Nikki Haley in second place with 424 delegates, and Josh Hawley in third place with 224 delegates. All the rest of the candidates have dropped out. In the US Virgin Islands in 2016, let's take a look at who they voted for. I'm not exactly sure either who they voted for. Uncommitted was the largest group. That's quite weird. But Ted Cruz, that's really all delegates decided to back Trump. So that's really weird that most of them were uncommitted, but the majority did go, or a very small plurality went for Ted Cruz. I mean, it could sort of go either way in the US Virgin Islands, but right now we're gonna say, someone like a Hawley could, get up there. Pence, I mean, just with the Trump effect, I could, something like that, but there's not all that many delegates to go for anyway. Moving on to the next state, the District of Columbia. This one is going to be a Haley state for now. I mean, they like to go for sort of more establishment candidates. I don't think Hawley will do very well. You could see it being something like that. Maybe Hawley gets one delegate there, something like that. Moving on to Guam is the next thing. It's a closed caucus in the territory of Guam. Right now, Guam, I believe this one went for Trump last time, so we're going to be giving that one over to Haley, something like that. You could see maybe Josh Hawley could get in a little bit with their 9 delegates. Moving on to another Super Tuesday here. Florida, Illinois, Missouri, the Northern Mariana Islands, North Carolina, and the state of Ohio. In the state of Florida, this one I believe will go to Nikki Haley. And is Florida a winner-take-all? Florida is a winner-take-all. So that means that Nikki Haley gets all of the delegates in the state of Florida, which gives her a nice little lead there going into future contests. In the state of Illinois, this one, I think this one could go to Josh Hawley. He could get his first victory in the state, but I believe it is a winner-take-all in the state of Illinois. So it could be very tight between Josh Hawley and Mike Pence, but given that it is a winner-take-all, we're going to give all of those delegates over to Josh Hawley, getting his first victory in the primaries. In the state of Missouri, this is Josh Hawley's home state. His home state's likely going to go and vote for him. All 54 delegates are winner-take-all, going to go over to Josh Hawley. In the Northern Mariana Islands, this is another winner-take-all situation in the Northern Mariana Islands. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Northern Mariana Islands. So Trump won this one last time by a pretty big margin, so we're going to go ahead and give this one over to Pence, all 9 delegates going in his corner. Moving on to the state of North Carolina, this is a proportional proportional vote, but I believe Nikki Haley gonna win in North Carolina. She could get 53%. Pence also gonna be up there with the Trump effect, and then Hawley 5% as well. Moving on to the state of Ohio, this is a winner take all, and given that, actually, I think I might. This one's going to be tough because I think I might actually change Illinois because Mike Pence is from the state of Indiana, and so I'm really torn on Illinois between Hawley and Pence. I think that Hawley could do well in a state like Illinois with the rust, could appeal to Trump voters, but then Pence with his name recognition, that Hawley would gain name recognition in the primaries itself. That one's going to be really hard to decide. I'm going to keep it with Hawley for now, but I mean it could go either way. And then Ohio, this one I think going to go to Mike Pence. All 82 delegates, I believe, going into the Pence corner. Moving on to the next few states, American Samoa, Arizona, Utah, Wisconsin, and the state of New York. American Samoa, I believe, was taken by Trump, if I'm not mistaken. So let's go ahead and give that one over to Mike Pence. Mike Pence, we could see taking 44. Haley, something like that, 4-3-2 split. Moving on to the next state, the state of Arizona. So in the state of Arizona, this one's going to be tight, but I believe that Pence is probably going to take in Arizona. Sorry, let me just check. Is American Samoa? No, alright. So Arizona's a winner take all. So we see Pence sweeping those delegates, all 57 of them, in the state of Arizona. Moving on to the state of Utah, this is a winner take most. We're doing a proportional situation. We believe Pence would be able to appeal to a lot of those religious conservatives, so we're going to give him 62%. Haley coming up there a bit there, and then Hawley splitting that off. So moving on to the next state, the state of Wisconsin. This is a winner take all. This one I think will be key for Hawley and Pence in that state. So this one again, I'm quite torn between going to Pence or going to Hawley. We're going to give this one over to Pence for now because I just think, I think Hawley would get second, but obviously you don't get any delegates for second. So we're going to be giving that one over to Pence for right now. And then in the state of New York, this is a winner take most in situation in the state of New York. Again, it's going to be tight, but we actually see this one being very tight between Pence and Haley at the top of the ticket. So, I mean, there's a bit of a split here between Pence and Haley in these northeastern states. There aren't that many religious conservatives in New York. At the same time, Trump won the state. It's going to be tight, but we're going to be giving this one very narrowly over to Mike Pence, with Haley coming in a very close second. You could see something like that, and then Hawley coming in third in the state of New York. Moving on to, that is, I believe, the end of this one. So next time, I think we can actually fit in a few more of these. So we're going to be going to Connecticut, we're going to be going to Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Indiana, Nebraska, West Virginia, Oregon, and Washington to finish off this video. So many Super Tuesdays here coming up. So this is a Seller Tuesday, Super Tuesday for Connecticut. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. It's a winner take most in the state of Connecticut, and I believe they voted for Mr. Trump. We're going to be giving this one over to Pence, but again, very narrowly, like in the state of New York, between Pence and Haley. You could see something like that sort of split. Moving on to the state of Delaware, this is a winner take all in the state of Delaware. This one, I believe, going to go over to Mike Pence, sweeping the 16 delegates in that state. Moving on to the state of Maryland, another winner take all. This one I'm going to give over to Mike Pence again, 38 delegates, and I believe Rhode Island's also there. Yeah, Rhode Island's a proportional situation there. So in the state of Rhode Island, this one we're going to be giving over to Mike Pence, but a lot of these northeastern states we see going very narrowly between Pence and Haley at the top of the ticket. We don't think Hawley will do all that well there. In the state of Pennsylvania, this one's going to be very key for Josh Hawley and Mike Pence to take. At this point, given that Hawley, I mean, yes, he does have some momentum, but I don't think he's going to do all that well. I don't think he's going to do as well as he probably hopes. So we're going to be giving all 88 delegates over to Mike Pence. Moving on to Pence's home state of Indiana, this is a winner take all, and this one we're going to be obviously giving to Mike Pence as he is the home state over there. Moving on, let's just say at May 3rd, we're going to be saying that here, we're going to be saying that on the 3rd of May, Indiana obviously votes, and then on the 10th of May, you've got Nebraska and West Virginia. In the state of West Virginia, we think that this one's going to go over to Mike Pence. I believe that is a winner-take-all. Oh, no, sorry, Nebraska was winner-take-all, but West Virginia is proportional. So West Virginia, we're going to be giving some over to Pence, but a lot we're actually going to be giving over to Josh Hawley as well, and Nikki Haley coming in third in that state. Moving on to the state of Nebraska, a winner-take-all. This one we think Pence could do okay in, but Hawley's also up there, but with Hawley sort of tapering off after a while, we're going to be giving that one over to Mike Pence, all 36 delegates in that winner-take-all situation. And now you can see Pence is starting to get quite close to the magic number coming into the convention, but and he is the favorite to go on and win in the Republican primary. Moving on to the state of Oregon is the next state we'll be taking a look at. Sorry about that. In the state of Oregon, this one we're going to be giving over to Mike Pence, with Haley coming in a close second, but it is a winner. Oh no, sorry, that is a proportional seat. So we'll be giving some over to Nikki Haley. Something like that, with Hawley splitting off that difference. Moving on to the final state, we'll be taking a look at the state of Washington. This is a proportional winner take most. So again, a proportional system. We're going to be giving narrowly over to Mike Pence, with Haley coming in a close second, Hawley also up there. So right now, Mike Pence won at 106.6, Nikki Haley at 705. It's going to be very close. Next time we'll be doing California, Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, and South Dakota, and the convention fights as to who will be the Republican nominee in 2024. And I gotta say, Mike Pence, he's leading right now, but you should never count anyone out right now. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Good night.